Oh, you know what? 2 months before I met Jessica.
You let the ponytail go.
Yeah. Once I realized that, I was having a little bald spot up top.
Ooh.
And the bald spot is meeting the widow's peaks on the side right there.
Oh yeah, it's time to
That's
definitely let it go.
That's an ugly look. I did not want to be that old dude in the club, like trying to dance up on the teenage girls in the corner. No,
right.
That's what that says right there.
You couldn't like fill it in though. Like, did you try to manage it? Like, okay, let me put a little bit more hair on this side.
No. Once I realized that it was that was what's happening. Fuck it,
cut it all off. You just cut it all off.
Yeah, I cut it short and wore it short, but normal length for a long time, and now I just put it on a 2-guard and couple every few weeks, and I just keep it real short and put a hat on and move on. Yeah, I don't just spend.
Was it hard letting it go?
Nah, out with the old, in with the new. I've kind of always been with that.
There you go.
Once you're done with something, you're done with it. Move to the next thing. Don't be.
I think I would feel that same way because I'm starting to get a little thin up there, but I kind of just fade it a little bit, try to blend it in as much as I can, but it's going to get to the point to where it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Ain't no amount of fading or blending is going to work,
A comb over only works
my fade going to have to be way up here. My fade start to build up my head.
It'll be a niche.
I have a frontal fade.
Frontal fade. That's very funny.
Like, man, but I'm holding up top. The hairline's still good. It's just that
one, yeah.
The crown. I don't know what they call it. The crown.
The bald spot.
The bald spot.
Yeah. That's where we all got one.
The proverbial bald spot.
Proverbial bald spot. That's what it is.
It happens.
You know what, though? Here's the thing. 2 months after I cut my hair, I met Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
And she's seen pictures of me before.
Okay.
When I had my long hair and my ponytail, and she said, you might have got the fake number if you still had that hair when you met me. She said, it's a good thing you cut the hair off.
She liked the clean shave.
Yeah, it wasn't clean shaved then. It was just cut short.
But the short cut. Okay.
The clean cut.
Okay.
It was definitely clean. It was definitely clean.
Okay.
Yeah, and she saw the old one, and she was like, oh, you might have got the fake number that night.
Right.
So, okay.
Your hair can't be long as mine.
Yep.
Yeah, nah, we ain't having that.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, with that, with the whole bald spot starting, you could see it. When you pulled my hair back in a ponytail, it was,
it's time to let it go.
Time to go. Yep.
Time to go. I remember one time I was in the military, I was working on this stand. They called B2 stands. They went up, they started at like 20 feet, and you could jack them up to probably like 35, 40 feet.
Okay.
To work on planes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was up there, I was greasing some things, and I looked down, and my shop chief was down there writing on our little, maintenance board or whatever. And you can see islands in his head. Like he had like an island up front.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had his it grew like your skull grow like a baby's skull. You can see where his fractures at in his skull.
Wow.
So like he had the little frontal island, then he had the kind of rear middle island, but it grew in together, where it parted almost.
Right.
And I was like, man, I hope that'll never happen to me.
Wow, that's
wild. All I could think.
Some people do have ugly heads, man.
Yeah.
Some people have ugly heads.
Like, dude, just let it go.
I shaved my head. We were in Miami one time.
Okay.
And I was half drunk. We were walking through South Beach, and there's a barber, and yada, yada, yada. I went in there and said, shave it up. Well, it took them like 30 minutes, man. This guy okay. Cool. He put all this stuff on my hair. He buzzed it down real good. Then he got a razor out and shaved it down real good. Then he patted it down with some menthol or whatever it was. We told a bunch of lies. Dude in the corner was smoking a blunt. Whatever it was fun.
Yeah.
But damn, if I had to wait 30 minutes every time for somebody to shave my head, I'd be pissed off because I can do it in the shower.
It took them 30 minutes.
The whole experience. They made it an experience for you.
Yeah, they do. Typically they do. Fun. Typically the barbers do. They'll just get you in and out.
I've never been to a barber in my life.
Yeah.
Never been to a barber.
Okay.
I always had a female cut my hair.
So you weren't used to the experience.
That's the only time a man has ever cut my hair
the
at
men
all.
barbershop.
Yeah. Never been in
the shop talk. We go shop talk.
Oh, it was fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Fun, and this is Miami, so people are coming in and out, everybody's high or whatever. It was a blast. Yeah, we had a good time.
Okay.
But I just couldn't. First of all, the whole bald thing, you got to shave it regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
you do like every 2 days.
Yeah,
you got to keep it clean.
And if you don't, then you got to get the trimmers out before you can shave it. And so I didn't want to mess with all that.
Right.
That's one thing. Now I can buzz it down whenever I want to. If I go 3 weeks, if I go 2 months, put it on a 2-guard, it's going to look the same.
Two guards going to look the same.
And it's the same amount of effort to do that as it would be, you know. So yeah, that's one of the things. But I don't necessarily have a good looking head either. So
no, it's not that bad.
You know, thanks, man. Yeah, but you ain't never seen it completely bald.
It's even.
Okay.
At least you don't got the Gumby head.
No, I don't
know?
have a Gumby head. That's true.
Damn Gumby head. I had the Gumby head as a kid.
And you know,
I done grew into it now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My shit was fucked up. I had a big Gumby knot as a kid. It was messed up, man. I got a barbershop horror story.
Horror story.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you want to do it on this end or the other end of the intro?
Yeah. Let's do the intro, Shane. Let's cut the intro.
Let's go. Ready?
Can you do an intro like where you do like a tale of the tape? Like I got Q the messenger here, 5 foot nothing, 250 pounds, in the camouflage shorts, in the you get what I'm saying? Like a tale of the tape type intro.
I don't know what tale of the tape is. What is
like that? When the boxer announcer come out in the red corner? We got the Italian stallion,
Okay.
Buck Wildin,
What is Tale of the Tape? Is that a movie?
That's Tale of the Tape is what they call when they give you the card of like, okay, this boxer's records 33-1, this boxer's records 10-2,
Tale of the Tape.
They call it
heard that before.
Tale of the Tape.
Now I'm gonna do research and find out where that comes from.
I don't know, but that's what they call it, the Tale of the Tape. I think it's TALE, tale.
Yeah, that makes sense. The tale. So the story of the tape, and then the tape is going to be probably at some point in time. You know what I bet it was? I'm going to make an educated guess. Here we go.
Oh, hypothesis.
Behind the scenes of early boxing matches,
okay,
they had a wall somewhere, and all the matches and all the cards would be on the wall. But they do this every single night, and they got to turn this over, and so they would tape masking tape. And they would put it on the wall and write the fighters' names on it, so-and-so versus so-and-so, and they could organize it by the cards that were going to be for the night. And so that would be the tape, and then you could tell the tale of the tape. Now, I pulled that straight right out of a dark place. It might be just like a mushroom. You know what I'm saying?
Down south.
That tale might be a mushroom tale,
a southern tale.
But who knows? It might be right.
It sounded good to me. I would believe it.
It's just like card. Okay, well, why is it called a card? Because back in the day, they would have been written on the card. For instance, in golf. When you play a golf tournament, in my case, a disc golf tournament, it's the same way. You have a card. And if you're on the first card, then that means you're part of the lead group, right? But the card initially was it was the scorecard.
Okay.
That had everybody's name on it. And then you go down and you write down your scores for 18 holes, and then you got to sign it and turn it into the director. That's how golf has done it forever. And so that's why it's called a card in golf. I know that for sure.
Okay.
Because I was playing disc golf when we still had those actual cards. And somebody had to keep the card.
That's what I was going to say. Now, do I keep my own card? Do I write my own
Now it's all digital,
score?
and everybody has to keep everybody's score. But back in the day, what you did was, generally speaking, if you had a foursome, you would just split it up. And it's usually going to be a foursome, in a tournament like that. So you'd split it up. Somebody would have the card for the first, 3 or 4 holes. It doesn't equal, 4 people divided by 18 holes. So, somebody's going to have it. Or sometimes somebody would volunteer to keep it for the front 9 and somebody else for the back 9. Or, just how you decide in the card. Right. It didn't matter. The card itself decided.
Okay.
But, yeah. And in disc golf, the term card is part of the rules. Anyways, we're supposed to be doing an intro, right?
Yeah.
The tale of the tape intro.
Go down a rabbit hole.
I've never done it this way before.
Get on the damn soapbox.
All right, let me give it a try here.
Oh, no. I was just thought throw something new out there.
Inspiration's hard to come by. And then I got to try to remember some facts about you.
Uh-huh.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Okay.
And now, coming to you in this corner, Mr. That's hard to do, man.
Come on, Shane. You was on the road, bro.
I got to figure out how to flow. All right.
Okay.
All right, let me try it again. Take two. Take two. Just hit the little thing. And now, in the left corner is Q the Messenger, coming to you tonight at 5'5", weighing in at 223 fighting pounds, hailing from somewhere in rural Georgia here tonight in the Rocket City. Give it up for Q the Messenger!
That was pretty damn good, Shane. That was damn good. I said we started doing our intros like you introduce me like that, and I introduce you like I do my version.
All right, here you go. The goat.
No, I'm not.
No,
ready
you're
tonight.
on the spot. No, you put me on the spot. Neither was I.
I'm not ready tonight, Shane.
You had.
I got you next time.
Oh, that's some bullshit. I get put on the spot.
I got the horror story. I got the barbershop horror story.
You got the barbershop horror story.
I got to focus on that.
Well, I'm Shane the Brain.
That was damn good though, Shane.
And next to us here is Kevin the Boss Man Richardson.
Kevin the Boss Man Richardson.
And this is Vendor Chronicles. I feel like now I got to be extra quiet for a moment just to balance out the extremely loud intro that we did there. There's a note being passed. Upper management has had an issue with our content.
Management.
We must adjust our content.
What are we? We're like the peons.
We're the peons. We're the peons. No, we're the talent.
The talent.
Which is peons.
Which is really the
industry.
peons.
Right. Yep. Upper management knows that I can't read without
Oh,
glasses.
yeah. But, Shane, we almost forgot, man. We got a sponsor. We got our first sponsor.
We do have our first sponsor.
We do have our first sponsor.
We haven't done that shout out yet, and we talked about it.
Yeah.
Just the other day, we talked about the fact that we've got a brand new sponsor. Now, this gentleman is somebody that's new to you and I.
Correct.
We haven't met him before, but he is a friend of Curated Gallery. I have no glasses on, Mr. Producer. I'm really sorry.
Friend of Kevin the Boss Man.
But a friend of Kevin the Boss Man Richardson.
Kevin the Boss Man told him about the podcast, and he
Yep.
decided to sponsor.
He listened to a few of our episodes and
He
said,
did.
hey, we like what you see. We
And
like what we hear.
his brand is Creekware LLC.
Creekware LLC.
Creekware LLC.
So I'm going to do something a little bit unique, and I'm going to pass the microphone to our producer for just a moment. Give us just the 30-second elevator speech about what Creekware LLC does, since you know it better than we do. And by next podcast, I promise to educate myself, and I'll do a nice 30-second spot. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll get well educated. Here's Kevin, the Boss Man Richardson.
In uncharted waters. Yeah.
Uncharted waters.
So Joshua, good friend of mine, he started a business called Creekware. I'm not sure exactly when he's started, the official date, but he's been in R&D for a while. It's research and development.
Mm-hmm.
And he's creating an outdoor box, like a subscription type box. And he'll also have merch, things for anything outdoors that you would use, insect repellent, things to start a fire with, like Kindle. And
Knives,
things like
maybe.
that.
Knives, stuff like that. Okay.
He actually gifted me as a surprise a dagger that's hidden inside a bracelet, which is really cool.
That is cool.
That's one of his like premier products
Okay.
coming out. So we will learn more here shortly. I know he's launching in July, so we'll actually have him on the show. But shout out to Joshua.
Shout out Joshua Creekware. First sponsor of Vendor Chronicles.
Shout out Joshua. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
and
much.
I promise you next week I'll have a proper commercial for you. I don't know about a 30-second spot. That's a long. I can talk for 30 seconds.
As you know, Josh, if you listen to the show, we spitball, brother. But give us another episode. We'll have you dialed in properly.
Thank you again. It really does mean a lot.
Yep, it does. Thank you. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Hard stop.
Like, wait a minute. That's our first. We got to figure out a way to do that seamlessly.
With our sponsors.
Yeah. I still want to do it live.
Okay, so not like we record something and then like, just throw it in there.
It just seems more,
Do it live.
Have you ever heard Bill Burr doing, it's hilarious. Did you ever hear the one where he Sherry's Berries?
Yeah, you told me about that one, Shane.
Oh, my goodness gracious. That was one of the funniest things I have ever heard.
Berries.
The Sherry's
Is that the
Berries
one he stopped like mid-sentence and was like, we're not doing this?
No, he did it.
It gave their damn, like, we'll give them their money back. Like,
yeah, no, but he finished that. He made fun of them for a couple of minutes.
And then gave them their money back. Yeah.
He was just laughing so hard that he couldn't help but, he was like, we're going to have to give them their money back, but I can't help it. This is hilarious or whatever.
Sherry's Berries.
He admitted right there. Yeah.
Franks
and apparently,
beans.
I've heard him talk about it since then, and apparently there's animosity. They don't like him.
I can probably see why.
They held a grudge.
I wonder how much they'll pay for Bill Burr to shot you out. Ew.
I mean, either way, I bet there's a lot of people now that know the name Sherry's Berries that wouldn't have before.
Yep.
And that went to their website and they got a free advertisement. Although
any publicity is good publicity.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if we could get Bill Burr to spend 2 minutes shitting on our podcast,
yep,
I'd pay money for that. Like, dude, here's however much I could scrape together. I would give it to Bill Burr if he would go on his podcast for 2 minutes and shit on our podcast. You could say it's the worst thing you've ever heard.
The worst thing you ever
You could
heard.
make up some crazy shit about these Alabama guys.
Yep.
You can call me anything. It don't matter to me because people are going to tune in to find out.
Like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
Let's take a listen.
I want to encourage. Matter of fact, I hereby challenge Bill Burr. You know, Bill Burr, I don't believe you got the stones to roast these two Alabama boys.
I bet he don't, Shay.
You lily-livered, pale-skinned,
Talk your shit, Shay.
bald-headed, Hollywood starlet married to.
Diddy party attending.
Probably Diddy parties. I'm talking about flying helicopters all around. Oh, you bought your Harley Davidson. You've been riding it around the airport. You feel like a man. Bitch, I got 85,000 miles on a Hayabusa. What? Come on, Bill Burr. You got nothing to say about these two Alabama boys is what I'm talking about. You don't have the balls to stand up and try to. I'll go head-to-head with you. We could do it in Philly. I'll fly to Philly. And we'll do the same stage where they, you know what I'm saying? I just don't think Bill Burr that you
little
have
fire of the shade ass.
The stones to do it. Let's see what you got.
Damn, Shane, that's a good promo to call out Bill Burr.
And see now, then of course, if Bill Burr ever were to hear that and he takes the bait, we win no matter what.
He baited.
We win.
He
like
baited.
Bill Burr could literally he could send hate mail to my house. It wouldn't matter because we would still have
do like a famous person.
I'm gonna start doing that every episode. I'm gonna roast one famous person.
Roast, famous
Call
person
them
roast, like
like the worst.
Yeah, just to give them the bait.
Look,
like,
I'm gonna do it to Taylor Swift. She'll write a song about us.
Ooh,
Yep.
We get Swift. Swift got millions of fans.
I've never heard Taylor
Billions
Swift's music.
of fans.
Man. Billions, yeah.
Billions of fans.
Yeah.
A Swiftie. I'm a Swiftie.
Have you ever listened to her music?
I have. It's not bad music.
Okay.
I never intentionally listened to her music, but I done heard a lot of her stuff.
I've heard, her stuff in the background or whatever, but
Yeah.
I've never listened to it with an ear. It just seems like just bitching about the last dude that she broke up
I
with.
never intentionally put on a Taylor Swift song.
Right.
Or I don't have anything in my playlist.
But some people that I respect really like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, there's
I
a
can't
lot of
name
people
one
like
right now, but
Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is big.
yeah, she's huge.
Huge.
Yeah, she's huge.
She's a billionaire, too.
But I've also seen clips of her on there talking about,
she's like
so much harder for a woman.
6'2". She's tall, too. She's a tall girl.
Is she?
Yeah, she's like 6'2", real tall. I seen a movie with her in it where she got ran over by a car. It was the funniest shit I ever seen.
I would love to see Taylor Swift get run over.
I can't think of what.
Not in real life, but yeah.
No, like it was a movie. She literally was crossing the street, got hit by a damn bus. Boom, 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 dead, gone.
I really need you to
Quick.
tell me what movie that was.
I can't think of what movie that is, Shade. I said, did Swift just get ran over by a car? Yeah, she did.
I love that.
I
don't know. I don't like anybody that gets fame based on playing a victim card.
You think so? I thought she got it the hard way.
Listen, I'm not saying she's not super talented, and I'm not saying she hasn't worked hard. I'm not saying any of that.
She did it without a record deal, I want to say.
She started out as a country singer from Nashville, and then she changed to pop. I don't know what her story
social
is.
media
But the point is,
star.
if you listen to her music and if you watch her in interviews, it's almost always a poor me story. Her music is all about the last dude that she broke up with. That's my perception.
Ain't shit poor me about Taylor Swift.
No, and that's the other thing. How you gonna be a billionaire talking about singing songs about poor me?
Poor me.
Yeah, I don't
know. Woe is me.
Woe is me. But I have heard a lot of talk about how the Super Bowl was rigged so that whatever team she's dating a Super Bowl guy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Kelsey, I think.
What team does he play for?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs?
The Chiefs.
Where are they from? I'm sorry, man.
Kansas City.
Kansas. Okay, so
Kansas
they were in the
City,
Super Bowl
Missouri.
this past. Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, Kansas City, Missouri.
But they were in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. They've been to the
I heard
last
the
like 3 or
conspiracy
4 or
where-
5 Super Bowls.
Really?
Yeah.
That kind of kills that conspiracy.
Yeah.
How long has he been doing the hippity dippity with Taylor
I think
Swift?
the last season or 2.
Okay,
He was with her maybe 2
they were
seasons.
good before that, right?
Probably so. I don't know.
So the whole thing was a plan by Taylor Swift. It's a publicity stunt. Her whole thing dating the football guy. She picked a guy from one of the best teams. She probably gave him $1 million, $5 million, whatever it was, to put up with her bitchy ass, and claimed to be her boyfriend or husband or whatever they are, because she wanted the publicity of being on the Super Bowl and having the jumbotron on her. I mean, look, how much more?
Are you making this up, or this is a conspiracy out
I mean, I might ad lib a little bit of it.
Okay.
Some of it might be my own perception.
Okay.
But it seems to me like a long game con to get some free publicity.
Hey, we playing chess, they playing checkers.
Because this
Taylor
what's
Swift
his name?
played
Kelsey?
Chess.
What's the guy's name that plays football?
Travis Kelsey.
He's kind of, I think I've seen a picture of him. He looks like he could fucking stomped all three of us.
He's a tight
while
end.
He was eating a sandwich.
You know, tight ends are big guys.
Okay.
He's a tight end, so I bet he's probably 6'4", 250, 275. I bet he's a
I
pretty
think
big.
Taylor Swift likes whippy guys.
He's not a whippy guy.
That's what I'm saying.
He's a tight end in the NFL, National Football League.
I don't know. Like, I don't trust anything people with that level of money do. Once you get to that point, I mean, rich is one thing, but once you're a billionaire,
Swift's a billionaire.
yeah, she's a billionaire for sure.
Legit billionaire.
I'm questioning everything you do when you're at that level of money, and whether or not I think they're all playing such a long game that everything that
we playing chess, they playing checkers.
But you know, yeah,
or we playing checkers, they playing chess.
Yeah.
They playing chess.
They're playing that 3D chess from Star Trek.
Yeah,
is what they're
3D
playing,
chess.
You know,
we thinking about the next week, the next month. They thinking about the next 5, 10, 20, 15 years.
but here's my question.
I don't even got enough money to think that far ahead.
No,
I'm trying to get to the next month.
I'm thinking, yeah.
I'm trying to
Say
get
paycheck to paycheck, but I don't even get a paycheck.
I don't even get a paycheck no more. I'm trying to get to the next. I'm doing market to market. It ain't
I'm doing the
paycheck.
best
It's
I
market.
ever did.
Yeah, market.
What's that song about Everlast? I get by. You ever heard that? I like Everlast.
Because I get high.
Nah, he's talking about I get, yeah. well, he does, yeah. Stay
Just
a
to
little
get
high.
by.
I ain't gonna lie.
Just to
I
get by.
But what was I fixing to say? You know what I really wanted to hear about was the barbershop horror story.
Oh man, Shane.
I'm waiting.
So, I had to be about 5 years old, maybe kindergarten.
This is an implanted memory.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Never forget it. So, we go to the local barbershop in our neighborhood on the corner. My dad takes me, and I'm sitting there. You know, I think my dad was getting his haircut. It's two barbers. My dad was getting his haircut by his younger brother's dad. That's who owned the barbershop.
Okay.
So my uncle dad owned the barbershop. So that's who we would go see to get our haircut.
Okay.
So even though the other guy's chair was empty, we didn't use him because we using.
That's your guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy. You know what I'm saying? So
and that's
my
normal,
dad
right?
said, yeah, that's normal. You don't
cheat.
cheat. You don't cheat on your barber.
Yeah,
you know,
you
they
see
say
the
they call
same
that
barber.
cheating. You know,
Really?
you go to a
Okay.
new barber, you cheat on me.
You cheated. Okay.
Yeah. You can't cheat on your barber. So my dad's getting his haircut. I think I already had got my haircut. I think I might have went first.
Okay.
And now my dad's up. So now I'm just sitting there waiting on my dad to finish while this other barber just sitting there idle.
Gotcha.
Next thing I know, this chick walk in.
Oh.
Like cracked out, looked drunk. You know, I can remember it. You know, she was black as this chest right here.
For those people that can't see that chest, that's pretty black.
Yeah, black.
That's
black woman.
That's
she
African
walks
black.
in a trench coat. Like a brown trench coat.
Oh, okay.
Like tripping, cracked out.
This is probably not
And
going in a good direction.
I'm like, damn, this lady tripping. I'm a 5-year-old thinking like this lady crazy as hell. So she sits in the idle chair, in the idle barber's chair, and the chair is like facing me like you, like now. So like when she sits down, she'll be facing me.
The haircutting chair.
The haircutting chair, the barber chair. I'm sitting in the seat like this, looking towards the barber chairs. She sits down in the barber chair facing me.
Is it normal for a woman to get her haircut in a barbershop?
I don't know, Shane. I'm a 5-year-old kid.
Now, with the perspective of time, would that be normal?
Yeah, because women rock fades and, cute little
So women do go
hairstyles
into the
now.
barbershop.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
women do go to the
Okay,
barbershop
all right.
now.
So the fact that she's a female in a barbershop in and of itself is not necessarily noteworthy.
But back then, that probably wasn't a thing.
Gotcha.
You probably still want too many females in your barbershop if it's a male-dominated organization.
Yeah. If it's a place where you can talk.
We're there talking
yeah.
freely, talking
Yeah.
shit, the wife, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. But, so she sits down.
Right. Plus, she's a cracker. So, yeah.
Cracked out, Shane. She had to be on something. She sits down, and I can't take my eyes off her because I'm just like, this lady is crazy as fuck. So she sits down, Shane. You won't believe what she did when she sat down,
The
Shane.
trench coat had to be significant. So, look, man, was she, giving you the whole view?
She spread eagle in the damn barber chair. She was butt naked up under the trench coat, Shane.
Just opened it up for the world.
I saw that was the greasiest cooter I ever seen in my life.
Well, it probably was the first one that you paid attention to.
It was the first one that wasn't like a family member.
Sure.
Like if I ain't took a shower with my mom or something, it was the first strange cooter I ever seen in my life. And she kept it open. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. So it's like imprinted in my brain. Like it was shaved bald.
Okay.
And it was shiny. It was greasy. I'm telling you, Shay, this is a true story. This shit happened to me. I'm 5 years old. I'll never forget that cooter. The first strange cooter I ever seen in my life, Shay. It was amazing.
Oh. What was she there for?
I don't know. She
just sat there flashing you.
She was a neighborhood crack whore. I don't know. She probably was doing the barbers. You know, like he didn't.
What did you do?
Because then nobody really escort her out. Like, oh, you can't be here. She had free reign to come in and sit down.
Okay.
And spread the eagle. The rest of the time. Now, granted, I don't think the adults knew what I could see.
But she had to have known.
She had to have known because they on their barber side. I'm the only one facing them. They're all pretty much facing me.
That's wild.
My dad's tied up getting his hair cut. The barber's cutting his hair.
Did you feel like she was just being careless or that she was showing you?
I think she was showing me.
That's a little creepy right there.
I mean, you couldn't help. I was looking.
I mean, of course you.
If I'm looking at you just like this,
and you're 5, especially with that 5-year-old stare. That's a good
that
point.
5-year-old stare.
Like you couldn't even. You'd be not looking and a 5-year-old staring at you. You'd be like, what, something. You get the heebie-jeebies, right? Yeah.
The shit happened to me, Shane.
That's a tough way to see your first one, man.
So I'm a first strange cooter.
Yeah. At 5.
A greasy one.
Apparently it didn't deter you though, so there you go.
No, it didn't deter me. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I've been looking at them ever since.
What's that Ron White said about that? Once you've seen one pair of titties, you pretty much want to see the rest of them.
You want to see the rest of them, yep.
Wow, the barbershop horror story.
Barbershop horror story, yes. That shit
but I mean, okay, so she looked cracked out, but was she good looking?
Nah.
I mean, in the first stages...
You could tell she probably been on the streets a while.
Okay. In the first stages, the crackheads can still look okay.
Yeah, the first stages of crack.
Lose a little weight, you know what I'm saying? And getting some exercise, you know?
Yeah. You could tell she's been out there.
That's tough.
Yeah. No telling what she's doing to get her fix.
That's one of those things, you know, you talk about all the drugs that you can be addicted to, whether legal or illegal. Mm-hmm. Some of them you can just see don't work out good. All you got to do is look, okay, the preponderant, we have a term called crackhead for a reason.
Crack kills.
Crack kills. And if it doesn't kill, it leaves you in a situation where you might wish you were dead.
Crack kills
Why would
slowly,
you do that?
though.
Yeah.
It does. Like, people can go years.
And I guess I've never smoked crack, so
Me
I have
neither,
no,
but, you know people go years, though, on crack.
Well, you know, I told you I knew somebody on crack. Had a friend I had to be like, you know what, man, I can't, you know, I got to move away from this. Here's the thing.
Can you hide crack?
What do you mean, can you hide it?
Can you hide being a crackhead?
This guy did for a long time.
Okay.
For a long time.
So it is possible to keep like some type of decorum, some type of normalcy.
I think for
while you smoking a crack.
Yeah, for sure. Well, now, once again, I've never smoked crack, but I was around this guy a bunch of times when he did smoke crack, and you know, just from looking at him, once he would take a hit.
You didn't know it was crack?
I did, yeah.
Okay. So he was smoking. He wasn't ashamed that he was smoking crack. He
around
was
me, I'm not judgmental.
Okay,
you do whatever you want to, you know, around, you know, whatever. If you're, it's behavior that I care about. I'm not going to smoke crack with you. It doesn't tempt me at all. It looks like a bad way to go. But if that's what you do, and other than that, you're normal and you pay your bills and you don't beat your wife and you're cool with me, then who am I to judge what you do?
Right.
You know, it's not for me, but. You know, whatever it is. So I don't care. I understand it's illegal, but so is going 75 and a 70. So don't, you know, I don't care about all that shit. But I think I want to tell you what happened. He switched from crack to crystal meth.
Oh.
He got where he couldn't afford crack anymore. And he's like,
that's a different beast.
Yeah. He's like, crystal meth is, I had known the guy for probably 5 years. And during most of that time knew that he smoked crack. And he was always able to keep it together. He was high strung, you know what I'm saying? But I knew a lot of high strung people. You know, it wasn't like it was, you know, I wouldn't be embarrassed to go in public with the guy or whatever. But when he switched from crack to crystal meth, it really affected his ego. And he really started feeling like he was, you know, it was going to be a fight, you know. And I'm not a fighter. I'd rather be like, you know what, I can't hang out with you because I don't want either one of us to punch each other in the nose. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. But he just, you know, his inner asshole really bloomed.
On the crystal meth.
On the meth, yeah. He was always a bit of an asshole when he smoked crack, but it seemed like he could manage it. maybe because it was so expensive that, he could only afford to do it every now and then. And maybe crystal meth. I've never done either one of them. I have no experience with either one of those drugs as far as personally, other than, seeing this person. But I knew it was a problem when he went from crack to meth. And sure enough, within just a couple months, I'm like, dude, this is not.
You need to go back to crack.
You're not my friend.
Mm-hmm.
The person I was friends with, I can't.
I'm friends with crackhead Joe, not meth Joe.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That don't work. You can't cross over.
Yeah, you can't cross over. You got.
You know me as Cannabis Chain.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Shane.
That's the one you want. Like
and
if I
started, know
started,
you as crackhead Joe.
Yeah, if I started snorting cocaine or something, you'd be like, Shane, man, no, dude, that's not okay.
No.
Yeah.
Weed, Shane.
Yeah. That's
so with weed. Can you tell people that smoke weed?
Can I tell?
Yeah.
If somebody else
do you
is
know
high?
a pothead when you see what? Like, can you just?
Oh, not always.
Not always.
No, but a lot of times.
Okay.
But I'm pretty open.
I'm speaking from the fact, like, okay.
From one to another, sure.
I know a black person when I see one. Do you
well,
know a weed head when you see one? You know, it is a little bit more obvious, but like
I know the signs of being high.
Okay, you can tell someone when they're high.
Not always, but yeah, pretty. Most of the time. If I'm paying attention, it's But yeah, you can tell. Especially in the eyes. It's in the eyes for the most part,
Okay.
Weed slows down time, basically. It makes time seem a little, I don't know, time seems slower and you can focus. You're going to hyper-focus on things. So if you can,
most definitely.
If you can direct what you hyper-focus on, now you can really, focus on whatever creative endeavor you're doing, or if you just need to do a repetitive.
I totally agree with that. Because last time I smoked weed, I was hyper focused.
Yeah. But that's what makes you paranoid, because you're hyper focused on one thing, and you realize that you're not really paying attention to other things in your environment. But you can learn not to maybe smoke as much. You know what I'm saying? It's like any other dose of any medicine that you might use. If you look at it that way, you can, maybe smoke a little bit less until you get used to it, and then B, learn how to manage and direct that hyper focus, and you can turn it into something positive. Whether it's a creative endeavor.
I got a C, Shane.
Do what?
I have a C. You had an A and a B. I have a C.
A and a B and a C.
You had an A and a B.
I'm sorry, I'm lost.
You said
I missed something.
A, manage your dosage. B, learn how to focus in.
Sorry,
use that to your advantage.
I was focused
and
on
I was saying,
what's the C?
And I got
what's
a C. Shay was like, huh?
What's he talking about?
Weed, y'all. Kids say no.
Hyper focus.
Just don't smoke it at all. That's my C.
That's number C.
That's my C.
And that's probably the right thing for a lot of people.
For me, it is.
Sure.
If you do what you do, but for me,
that's how I feel too.
I trip out.
Like some people don't drink coffee like I do.
I trip balls.
Yeah, and see, I can talk to a cop. No problem. It don't, if you know the signs, you might know. But as far as you want to put me through you want to put me through the drunk test, I got that.
My field
100%.
sobriety
I got your field sobriety test with no problem whatsoever.
Oh damn!
But I've learned how to manage it to the point where I don't know. It's for me. Some people don't drink coffee.
For you. It's not for me.
Some people don't drink coffee. I drink
people don't drink coffee.
2 pots a day, literally.
I did a coffee comparison with my popcorn the other day.
What do you mean?
So my favorite popcorn is just the simply salted.
Simply salted. Yep.
I compared it to just like black coffee. Like after you drink coffee long enough, you're gonna start probably just liking it black.
I think the longer you drink coffee, the closer you come to just black.
Yeah. That was pretty much the comparison I made.
Okay.
Like you got the kettle, the caramel. Those are like your frappuccinos and your cappuccinos and stuff like that. Your sugary, very light
frappes
and stuff like that. Those are like all the dressings. But after a while, if you really a consumer of coffee and the coffee bean and you want that flavor, you're gonna start just probably going black.
It's it's funny how so many things are like that, though.
Yeah.
You drink something and you like it, or you taste something and you like it, whatever. But the more you do it, it seems like, oh, wait a minute, I really like the way coffee tastes. I really like the way
yes.
a steak tastes. I don't want seasoning. I want some salt, maybe a little bit of pepper. But generally speaking, I put salt on a steak and that's it.
And that's really all you need.
I don't need anything else. No, when I cook one at home, I don't put any seasoning on it.
Correct.
I don't use condiments.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I get a burger at a place, I don't do it very often. But if I do, don't put mayonnaise or ketchup or I don't want any.
You don't want it all
give me the
dressed
lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
Drag it through the garden, but don't put any sauce on it. I just because if your burger sucks, then your burger sucks. You can't make that better with ketchup.
Correct.
And if you got a good burger, I don't want the ketchup interfering with the taste of the burger. I would like to have I want the burger.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a corn dog the other day, and it was the first time. This was a hand dipped. I was at the National Cornbread Festival in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee.
Yep.
That's a cool venue up there, South Pittsburgh, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
It's just before you get to 24, like you're going to Chattanooga. It's on 72, where the Lodge Cookware Foundry is.
Is it Tennessee or is it Alabama?
It's Tennessee.
Okay.
But barely, you go from Alabama to Georgia, then to Tennessee on the way there.
Okay.
Because Georgia kind of cuts over.
Yeah, you
just a little bit
get
into
a little
it.
bit into
So
Georgia.
you go through in just a little part of Georgia, and then you go into Tennessee from there, and then it's literally the last town and real close to the last day. It's only like 2 miles until you get to 24, where you would go
to Chattanooga,
east to go to Chattanooga and west to go to Nashville.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, you ever been to Mont Eagle?
Mm-mm.
So if you go west on 24, instead of going east to Chattanooga, go west and go about 20 miles. There's a little area called Mont Eagle over there. And the reason I bring it up is because you talked about going to a winery, and they have a winery up there, and you can do a little tasting and buy a couple of bottles and what have you. Used to ride
How
my
far
bike
of a
up
drive
there.
you think it is from here?
From here,
About an hour and a half, maybe. Could you do an hour and a half?
Probably do it in an hour.
Oh,
I think it depends on how you go up. But all right, I don't know if I've ever driven from here in a car. I've done it on my motorcycle a bunch of times.
okay.
So that's going to skew, A, because I'm going to take curvy back roads, and B, I'm going to be flying. So, I don't know. Been a long time. But Mont Eagle is they've got a restaurant up there that's like a more authentic version of a Cracker Barrel. It seems more like a down-home kind of place. It's called Big Jim Brown's Mont Eagle Restaurant or something like that. I don't know. But there's a bunch of folklore up there, too. Well, you can camp up there, and they got cabins. But there's a steakhouse somewhere in the vicinity. I've never been to it. But it was Al Capone had a hideout in Tennessee, and he would come down here when he needed to lay low. Nobody knew about this. Al Capone, yeah, that's a fact.
Al Capone.
And so there's a steakhouse
bootlegger
that used to serve Al Capone, and I guess the walls are full of dirt. Like the walls are 2 feet thick or something like that, and there's dirt in between. In other words, so they can't
shoot through the walls.
Shoot through the walls. Yeah. I don't know much about the lore of that, so I don't want to talk out of my ass, but there's a steakhouse that was modified for Al Capone when he came down to his Tennessee hideout so that he couldn't be shot through the walls of it. We should probably look that up. That'd be a fun little trip.
Did he
And
die of syphilis?
I think so,
I think
yeah.
Al Capone died
Yeah, it
of
went
syphilis.
crazy.
Yeah, it went mad.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Something like syphilis was killing people back
A
then.
bunch of people.
Whole bunch of people.
Yep. A lot of people died from.
Then penicillin came around somehow.
All of a sudden, no more
You
syphilis.
go put it wherever you want now.
Yep. It don't matter.
It don't matter.
But back then, you might for real die.
You for real.
But
I
you
mean,
know-
it take a long time, I think, to die from it.
Less time than AIDS, maybe.
I don't know.
I think it happened pretty quick. I mean, as far as relatively speaking, I think within like a year. I don't think it was years and years. I might be wrong.
I don't know, Shane. I don't want to find out.
I don't want to find out. That's a rough one right there.
That is a rough
Pieces
one.
of your body would rot
Yeah,
off,
you
man.
just
That's
rot
like
off,
that's like
man.
leprosy. Yeah, syphilis is no. Yeah. And the first thing that rots off is your dick. I'm almost positive. I'm almost positive that's the first thing. Yep. Now you got a mummy dick.
Oh man,
Yep.
that's rough. That's crazy.
Tough to live back then,
Al
man.
Capone, it was tough. You had to be careful, man. Got to be careful now too. Shoot.
Got the man on taxes.
Yeah. They got me on taxes.
Got me on taxes too. What you
Shit.
gonna do, man? They got us all on
They
taxes.
got us all on taxes. The land. I thought this was a land of the free, Shay.
You know, it's funny. I was having a conversation with a vendor this
What happened
weekend
to that
about
shit?
how you can have a piece of property that you bought, paid for. It's yours. You got the title. They can still take it away from you if you don't pay the government something every year. That's just
Didn't I tell you that story about the old man?
yeah, that's what I was saying. I was reminded of your story.
That is ridiculous.
You know, it's crazy that you can have your property taken away.
They can still come take it if
This
you
guy
don't come
was
pay
talking
your
about somebody
taxes.
he knew that was in a jam because and the thing about this guy was they'd raised his taxes. I guess his neighborhood went up.
That's
in
what the old
value.
man said. They raised the neighborhood goes up, my taxes go up.
Yep.
House been paid for years, but now I can't
Yeah,
afford my
that's
taxes.
That's
My tax is almost more than what I paid for the house back
Yeah.
in 1975.
Yeah. That's just wrong. That's wrong that you know.
Land of the free, home of the brave.
You've paid enough.
You paid enough.
Should get to the point you've paid enough.
Even if it's just like a Social Security. If you're on Social Security, you shouldn't have to pay property taxes.
Thank you
or
very
something
much.
like
That's
that.
a good.
You know what I'm saying?
there you
If
go.
you've been paying to this system all this time. That's
The thing is,
yeah.
then what's going to happen? Playing devil's advocate is you're going to have people that be like, "Oh, we got everybody's houses in grandma's name." So you know what I'm saying? People do that.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I can tell you from the bottom end of that kind of thing. Back in the restaurant business, you know, I worked in fast food.
Mm-hmm.
This was kind of the bottom barrel of the employable a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it was good people that were just starting out or whatever. But, you know, a lot of times, you know, the career, you know, if you've been working at McDonald's on the grill for 5 years, you know, you might should have took a class.
You can see that upward mobility.
You need to have some kind of motivation. And if you don't, then, you know, you're probably...
Upward
but
mobility.
a lot of times it was young single mothers and you can only make so much money and still get your benefits, as it were.
Yep.
But you would hear them talking about how to game the system, you know, park your car around the block, walk up, have somebody drop you off, and don't make it obvious, you know, if you got a nice car or whatever. Don't take your cell phone with you, so you got no smartphone. They intentionally would remove any evidence of money when they went to the benefits office, whatever benefit it is that they were applying for.
What did
this was a
Shakespeare quote? Like, the world is just a stage and we're all actors.
we're all actors. Yep,
That's
playing a role.
That's a damn good actor.
Just like what's his name on the streets up here? Dan the Man.
Dan the Man.
Dan the Man is playing a role. We know this dude is playing
the
a role.
damn role.
He is a professional role playing, you know. But
He is.
hey, listen,
Dan the Man probably done squeezed at least $30-$40 out of me out of the course of the year, you know.
I'm probably not in him that deep, but I'm probably 20 or 30.
20, 30, yeah.
Probably 20 or
Dan,
30.
look.
Hell, I gave him $5 week before last.
Uh-huh.
And I saw him coming down the street today, and he didn't see me in my van.
Uh-huh.
And I just kind of ducked down because I wasn't going to give him any money.
He was going to put the squeeze on you.
Yep. I don't like it when they come and knock on your door while you're sitting in your car. Yeah. I've had it happen a couple times. Yeah.
Next time we do that, you should offer him like a hit of the joint or something.
There you go.
See what he say.
There you go, man.
You would hit the joint dead.
It might
I got this little roach.
God knocked on my door that same night we talked to him.
Oh God, I ain't seen him since that night.
That's the only time I ever saw him. But he had knocked on my window earlier that night, and I waved him off because I'd already given him $5 to Maybe he was God.
That motherfucker came like a thief in the night. He did his interview, took my $10, and I ain't seen him since.
Gone.
Oh,
never seen him
we'll
before.
Never see him again.
I remember that. I would remember that guy.
Fuck bitches, make money.
Fuck bitches, make money.
Fuck bitches, and he did the
with
chicken
like a
dance
little
with
chicken
it.
dance or something. When
that shit was crazy, Kevin.
I don't. We looked at each other like, what? Look back at him again. He repeated it again,
and he was gone.
And then that
motherfucker
around the corner
disappeared.
And you had to have passed him going into the bathroom. That's what I'm saying. He must have just been a regular dude coming out where you wouldn't even notice. And then he came out and went chicken dance.
It went fuck bitches, make money.
I don't know.
Lit a cigarette.
He did light a cigarette.
He was lighting a cigarette.
That's right.
I remember him lighting a cigarette.
That's right.
Fucking bitches and making money. And chicken dance around the corner.
You just don't know what kind of people you're going to see.
You don't. It's a funny
man. Listen, so let me comment on a phenomenon that I'm noticing.
Uh-oh.
Maybe it's because I'm old. I don't know.
Let me see if I notice it.
We can discuss this much. Well, okay. I have noticed it most. There you go. I've already shouted out the Cornbread Festival.
Correct. I don't even know if you finished your story on that one.
Well, okay, this will be a continuation then of my experience this weekend. This will be a Vendor Chronicle. This now, ladies and
Tales
gentlemen,
from a vendor.
Is a genuine tale from a vendor. Here we go.
Tale from a vendor. Oh, shit.
So it's not necessarily a specific story, but an observation.
Okay.
And a conversation starter. So this is a very small town in Tennessee. They got a main street. They're very proud. This is a beautiful town. I love South Pittsburgh. I could live there. It's a tiny little town with a ton of pride. I love this place, right?
Population, what, 3,000 maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If that.
Ooh.
Maybe 1,500. I don't know.
Wow.
It's a small place. The Lodge Foundry, and they make all Lodge cookware there.
The cast iron stuff.
The cast iron stuff. Every piece that says Lodge on it is made in South Pittsburgh.
Out of that damn town.
And they ship worldwide. And so, you know, there's a lot of people that are supported by that. And the town is beautiful. I'm not, you know, I love the town. They got the police The cops walk around with tied down guns.
Well, who
Tied down guns. They got their guns tied down. You know what I'm talking about? Gunfighter style. They wear them low down on their hip, and then the bottom part of the holster is tied around. There'll be a strap somewhere near your knee, holding the bottom of it down.
They sagging their pistols.
That's
like back in the day.
That's a gunfighter move.
That's a good.
Yeah. If you look up on like
they rocking revolvers.
No, they're not rocking revolvers. They all got big fucking 45s.
Okay.
Big 40. Which, if you're gonna carry a gun as a cop, carry a hog leg.
Semi-automatics.
You know, if you don't, no, these are, and they got a lot of them wear them low slung and tied down like a quick draw. You know, if you watch quick draw pistol competitions, they're wearing them low down. They don't want to have to come up too high. You don't have to clear your waist. You know, as your arm naturally comes up where it starts to bend.
Shoot from the hip.
You want it to come up, and it's exactly right. Shoot from the hip.
From the
But
hip.
the only reason to wear your gun low down and tied down is so you can get it out quick.
Right.
That's the only reason. Now, what they're going to tell you is, well, but if I've got to move around, I'm walking a lot, and I got to keep, they want to keep it strapped because otherwise it's flapping against me and irritates me. No, not if you wear it old-fashioned style on your belt with a solid holster like it should be. Get you a Kydex with a button that they can't be pulled. You know what I'm saying? It's just that having been said, they can't be nicer. Like
okay.
I've seen personally witnessed the police in South Pittsburgh helping vendors like carry their stuff.
Protecting and serving.
You don't see cops do it and serving. They both protect and serve. Yes. Every one of them I've talked to has a great attitude. They're fantastic people. They love their little town. But they walk around it like some gunfighters, boy.
I bet they'll shoot a motherfucker.
I should learn how to play that on a harmonica. I bet I could. I'm trying to learn how to play some Pink Floyd on a harmonica.
Okay.
I'm not fixing to do it now. I don't have it anywhere close to ready for prime time. No way.
Ready for prime time.
But the last song on the second record of the Wall album is called I forgot what it's called now. Outside the Wall. And it's got a part that starts out with some kind of a wind instrument, but I think I can figure it out on a harmonica. It's going to take me a minute, but it's going to be fun.
Okay.
So, my observation, that was not the observation. That was a squirrel. The tied down guns with the cops. Shout out the cops in South Pittsburgh. It seems like there's a ton of you guys for a really small town, but the epitome of to protect and serve. But guys, get rid of those damn tied down guns. You don't need them. You don't need them. Y'all are fine as you are. So, anyways, here's my observation. Young women's dress styles, fashion styles. I'm trying to make sure I do this without sounding like a perv. But I'm just going to lay it out on the floor. All right. I saw more bare booties this weekend than I have seen since I went to the beach last. I'm talking about skirts short enough where we're not talking about a peak. We're talking about, look, it's like an old-fashioned Jell-O commercial. Watch it wiggle, see it jiggle.
Yeah.
Booties popping all out. Whatever. I mean, in South, you think, okay, you go to Miami, you might see anything, which you might.
Like what type of booties? Booties.
Young women's booties.
I mean, all booties ain't created equal, though.
Oh, all shapes, sizes, and colors, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
Everything,
all type of booties.
everything from, I think that girl's 14. What the fuck is her daddy thinking? Where her, all the way to 22 and full figured, and all right, shit. If you got it and want to flaunt it, go right. So
not leaving nothing for the imagination.
I mean, very little. Very little. See, here's the thing. Now it's become real popular for women to wear these, or women and young girls, especially like teenage girls and young women. They wear these tiny little, like a tennis skirt, the little pleated skirts. And then they wear like some volleyball shorts underneath of them. They call them something different, but they're little spandex volleyball shorts. Neither of those on their own, the tiny little skirt that barely covers the booty or the volleyball shorts that are, pretty tight. Neither of them is okay on their own, but they put the two of those together and it makes just enough of a, you know what I'm saying? It's just enough of a tease, if you will. I'm going to be the one to say it. I don't give a damn. It's just enough. They're showing just enough to be provocative because they're trying to get attention, right? You don't see grown-ass women wearing these.
But do they want the attention?
Well, they don't know what it is that they're seeking, but that's another judgment. But the point is that now what I'm seeing is they're still wearing the little pleated skirts, but they're not putting the volleyball shorts underneath of it.
It's evolving.
I'm sure there's some kind of listen. I'm not like getting down and trying to get a better angle. Okay, so I'm not trying to make a comment on what underwear is being
the
worn.
greatest form of sophistication, Shane.
You know, okay, you know, hey, here's my thing. If you're 22, I'm cool with it. If you're 18, you probably don't know exactly what it is, you know, maybe 18 you do. I don't know.
I came into the world. There's
a point where, and I'm no prude. I'm no prude, as this audience knows. But there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah. This is like a family event, the cornbread.
Yep. And,
fest. I mean,
you know, I don't think that people are teaching young women what message, you know, everything is about empowerment. Yes, you absolutely have the right to wear whatever the hell you want to wear. And especially if you're 22 and,
you see the women, guys got their booties hanging out too. I seen a couple guys at Mississippi with their booties hanging out.
But very few guys are going to be physically vulnerable. To rape. All right, so me and you had a conversation one time. I said, who would win in a fight? And you were very quick to be like, nah, I'll fuck you up, right? Now, this is going to be an awkward question. But if you were so inclined, could you force yourself upon me? The answer to that is no.
No, I have to knock you out first.
You'd have to knock me out.
Yeah, you have to be unconscious.
Yeah, there's no way. You know, that's a whole nother level. Like
that's a whole nother level.
You might whip my ass, but you're not going to fuck
we
it.
get into a scuffle.
No, that ain't gonna, that's a whole nother. I'm going to find a new gear.
Kevin,
if that's what's fixing
hold him down. Kevin, hold him down.
It is going to take 2 or 3 of you, right?
Yeah, hold him down.
A woman, you know, obviously is going to be a little bit more, typically speaking, a little bit more physically vulnerable. And so it bothers me a lot less when I see a dude doing it because I'm like, you know, you stupid.
Yeah.
But with a girl, I'm like,
you say stupid, I just say gay.
Well, you know, there you go.
Yeah, you're gay. Why you got your cheeks hanging out?
Why you got your cheeks hanging out?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Pull your pants up. Dad did teach you how to put a belt on.
I saw a saggy pants teenager. You don't see it as much anymore. Mm-hmm. At one point, it was like, you know.
I think now it's like with the girls, but to the guys, they make a fashion point out of it. Like they'll get like some designer underwear, and they want you to see all their underwear.
I don't understand
all their ass.
What woman is attracted to that?
I don't know.
What? And you know, we say that about our young women, but it's a good point about our young men. What kind of girl are you trying to attract? I mean, when you're 17, you're trying to attract a girl. At 17, well, okay.
Well, it's called a huzz.
A huzz?
They not hoes no more.
A huzz?
Huzz.
Like short for hussy?
What a huzz at? What a huzz at?
So does that come from hose and it's just
I'm looking for the huzz.
A mumble of the hose and so now it's a huzz?
That's the new slang term for it.
But you've heard the term hussy.
Yeah, I heard hussy, but it's not hussy no more.
It's not, it's huzz.
What a huzz at?
You got to say it kind of with a huzz.
Yeah, what a huzz.
What a huzz at?
I learned that like within the past couple
y'all, what
weeks.
a huzz at? I'm in the hood, y'all. What a huzz
They be like, what's up, chat? What a huzz at?
What's up, chat? What a huzz at?
What's up, chat? Like that's what you call people now, chat.
What happened to cousin?
You can still be cuz too or twin, but chat is like when they doing like when they go live on
so you're talking to
YouTube
your audience.
Or
I got
they
you.
They always like what's up. The audience would be chat. So now you can use that term even talking to an individual or a group of people like what's up, chat? What a huzz at?
Wow. I mean, I try to stay as relevant as I can.
I'm trying
but
to,
I got to be honest with you.
I'm trying to update you.
Here's the thing.
I'm updating your damn firmware here, Shane.
I need to know which one of these is going to stick because the ones that are just going to fade away, I can't keep up with all the current slang. I need to know what's going to be around in another 2 years. What can I still be saying?
Hey, chat, what a huzz at?
But listen, I'm going to be honest with you.
That's what we're going to name this episode. Hey,
Rory's not going to stick around. Rory's going to fall by the wayside. I'm calling that one now. Riz is going to stick, I think.
Go Riz these girls up.
I think you're going to have Riz. Riz probably is the new Mojo. But you could still say Mojo. That would be an acceptable. It wouldn't be the latest slang, but if you said Mojo, everybody's going to know.
Maybe everybody 35 and older. I need to get my mojo back.
We need to ask the ladies in the coffee shop. I'm sorry, we need to ask the people in the coffee shop. I think that might be a progressive enough environment where we might need to be gender non-specific. I don't know. Oh,
man. Shout out Honest Coffee for putting that sign up for us.
Shout out Honest Coffee. Have you seen that?
Oh, man. For one, yeah, I'll let you tell it. It's your story. Oh. It's your story.
Well, I mean, it's not even whatever it is, but Knox Handmade Toys donated a train to Vendor Chronicles. Vendor Chronicles then donated that train to Honest Coffee Roasters.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the train is on display and available for kids to play with. And there's a sign that says this train donated by Vendor Chronicles with our QR code.
Mm-hmm.
And then underneath of it, I've got the toy business QR code. So we got both of those up there. And apparently it's gaining a lot of attention. And I have it from the lovely and talented Miss Colby that they are, once they're done with the promotion that they're doing with some charity now. I can't remember who it is. I should probably shout that out, but I don't remember the name of the charity. But anyways, once that promotion is over, that they're thinking about putting that train like on a table and promoting it more. So we might end up with a
putting it on the actual table.
We might have a table of my toys down there.
Oh wow!
And we'll advertise them the same way that they were donated by Vendor Chronicles, so we can get all of them. Yeah. There'd be some good exposure, right? So I don't know if it's going to happen yet, but yeah, for both of the businesses that I'm involved in. So yeah,
wow.
But donated by so when we go in there, we donated that.
We the face of Vendor Chronicles.
There you go. Yeah, there it is.
The
my first product placement. We're the talent.
Your first product placement, Shay.
But all the folks that work in the coffee shop are very young. Mm-hmm. And they seem very progressive minded. Although that's a good point. I really want to have Colby on the podcast. Probably the biggest reason is because I don't know how old she is, but obviously very young. And apparently she's
no older than 22, 23.
I would say in that range.
Yeah.
But I want to have that religious conversation that you came into the middle of that day and was like, what are they talking about over here? They got Shane's on religion again to the coffee shop lady. What the hell? But it started to be a good conversation, and it made her uncomfortable because she was in her work environment.
Okay, yeah, I
understand.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I'm trying to work on that. But the point of that is that the perspective of somebody. Most of the people we talk to are our age or older. Mm-hmm. Let's get somebody younger. And now we've had Ashe, who was younger than us, and Jana was probably a few years. Well, not younger than you guys.
I bet she was.
I bet she's mid-30s. Jana. Ashe seems younger than that.
How old is he? Mid-30s,
Free spirit keeps you young.
Mm-hmm.
I got to remember sometimes, too, that I'm 53. So somebody that's young to me is not necessarily young to you guys because I'm old. But the point being, we talked to your son on the podcast. I'd like to talk to a 22-year-old about what her views of the world are. And, it's probably a very different perspective than the way we see things. You know what I'm saying? Looking at it from our age and experience level. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something new. We'll see.
Most definitely.
Colby, come on the podcast.
Colby, come on the podcast. Man.
So what'd you do this weekend? I was at the National Cornbread Festival.
Oh, shit.
Trying not to look at bare booties.
It's hard, Trey, with them cheeks hanging out.
Look, man, when,
I saw some cheeks, was it Saturday night? I took the wife out. We went out on a date, went to Top Golf.
Nice.
I beat her.
Saw cheeks at Top Golf?
So we're going in. There's a couple coming out.
Okay.
And, this chick was thick, Shane. They say thicker than a snicker.
Thicker than a
snicker, Shane. So we pass each other. She's with her boyfriend, husband, whatever. I'm with my wife or whatever. And I look back, and you see nothing but cheeks. Like
just out there ready.
The cheeks were so juicy, Shane, that they couldn't even be tamed by them shorts she was wearing. Like they was like coming out of them. I was like, to me,
the
like
shorts wasn't up to the task.
They wasn't, Shane.
Wasn't up to the task.
They wasn't. Her booty was hungry. She was eating those shorts. So, so I look back and I said, honey, I would never let you walk out the house like that. It's a attire like that.
Never?
Not with your cheeks hanging out, babe.
Never? Not in any circumstance?
No. I ain't finna go out with you.
You're
with
in
your cheeks
South
hanging.
Beach, Miami.
If you're on the beach, that's a different story. You can wear a thong bikini on the beach.
I ain't talking about on the beach. I'm talking about at South Beach. It's nighttime. You're going to go walk the strip with all the neon lights, and there's some kind of Latin dance. That's the first place I ever heard Rihanna. That's where I fell in love with Rihanna's music. Was in South Beach. It's a vibe.
Riri.
So you wouldn't let your wife wear like a way too short skirt somewhere where nobody else is going to ever see you again? No?
Leave some for the imagination, babe. Leave some for the imagination.
In Miami?
In Miami.
A short skirt is
She can
the
wear a short
imagination down
skirt,
there.
but you don't got your cheeks hanging out the bottom of them, though, Shay.
Okay. I'm not judging.
I don't want my old lady cheeks hanging out the bottom of them.
What? Why?
I just don't.
Okay.
I guess I'm just a simple man, Shane. I don't know. A classy man.
Oh, shots fired.
I wouldn't go out with my nuts hanging out.
Okay, but that's a little apples and orange.
It is apples and orange, but still kind of comparative. Like,
because it's not a fashion statement, and nobody's looking at somebody that's got their nuts hanging out.
They
going,
really not. They really
out.
don't want to see these.
But a nice booty in a very short skirt that's maybe a little too short is going to be a positive reaction rather than a negative reaction.
Most definitely.
You know,
yeah, they see me. They're like, oh, this dude. Yeah, it is apples and oranges. It is.
Listen. You know,
which you would, in this day and age, you would say, why should it be apples and oranges?
Sometimes, as a man,
why is it apples and oranges, Shane?
Because nobody wants to see your nutsack.
They don't,
but they do want to see a booty.
They do want to see some cheeks.
They do want to see some cheeks. That's all I'm saying. And I will say this. I'll say this: as a man, there is a very good feeling about walking down the street knowing you got the hottest chick on the block
and
on
her
your
cheeks
arm.
hanging out.
And if her cheeks are hanging out, I mean, what now? If somebody wants to come and slap them,
ooh,
now they have to.
But you open it up to someone, to those.
So you think a woman
those side eyes and those comments and now
side eyes and comments? What I give a fuck about?
Physical touch? That's a whole different thing.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
but side eyes and comments. Okay, you know what I know about side eyes and comments? You either wish you were with her or you wish you was her.
Look at that huzz.
That's why you say that, because you wish you were her. I take the feminist side on that one.
Chat.
Wear what you want to. Time and place.
Time, place, manner.
Don't necessarily let your teenager do it at the Cornbread Festival in South Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in the nightlife in Miami, listen, you just walked past an open air drag show.
When in Rome, Shane.
When in Rome, do as the Romans.
I'm convinced. Yes, I let her wear cheeks out in Miami, Shane. Okay, you convinced me. Okay.
I ain't talking about even downtown Huntsville.
I'm convinced. You gotta keep being a dead horse. You got me.
Woo!
When in Rome,
roll that skirt up. When in Rome.
When in Rome.
But I think
whatever.
I think that's probably the answer to so many different things. When in Rome. And everything in moderation. Cheeks are okay, but that's as far as you push the envelope. Like, don't get drunk and get on the table dancing to tequila while you're wearing the cheek skirt. If you're going to dance on the table, which I probably have, that needs to be a time when you're wearing shorts, not when you're wearing the cheek skirt and your Victoria's Secret underneath them.
When in Rome.
And everything in moderation.
In moderation.
And everything in moderation. Don't take anything too far.
But
taste all of the tastes.
Shade, I'm convinced.
Taste as many flavors as you can.
I got it.
I'm beating a dead horse.
I got it.
So tell me about your weekend. Man.
So Saturday night, date night with the missus, Top Golf. We did it like best 2 out of 3.
Okay.
She won the first one. I won
So Cinthia can play golf.
I won the last 2. She won the first one. I won the last 2.
Okay.
In the Top Golf. So after we leave Top Golf, we go downtown to Stella's. So we sit up in Stella's. I get a beer, she get a drink. We're sitting there hanging out. You won't believe who walks through the front door.
I'm not going to try.
No, it's too many people. I'm just saying you won't believe it, Shane. I'm going to tell you. So I look at my wife. I say, that's the Black Power Ranger. She said, no, it's not. I say, yes, it is. I counted the fingers on his hand. The OG Black Power Ranger, Zack, from the original Power Rangers.
Really?
Was at Stella's.
In Huntsville.
Doing
what?
It was damn Comic-Con at the VBC this weekend.
Oh, I did hear about that.
So he was hanging out in town. Okay. So he came up in there with a buddy of his. My wife was like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. So
he has an extra finger?
He got 4 fingers on his left hand. He's missing a finger on his left hand.
Okay.
Got 5 on his right.
I got you.
So I'm sitting facing the door. Yep, him. I got a picture with him.
Okay.
Well, my wife got a picture with him. But he comes in. I'm facing the door. My wife's, my head's on a swivel when we go out anyway. I'm looking at the door.
Course.
I'm looking at everything going on. So he come towards me. It's probably like 15 steps to get to me. So as soon as he comes through the door, I got 10 to 15 steps to really scope him out.
And reacting,
that's the Black Power Ranger. So he makes his round around the bar. He didn't stay. He didn't get a drink or nothing. Comes back around, and then he cuts back through in front of us. And then my wife stops him.
So he was intentional. He was there to be seen. He was.
I don't know, but a lot of people won't notice him because he's the You would have
I
to be.
wouldn't-
You
I
probably would
wouldn't.
have to be 35 or better.
I wouldn't recognize
30.
him. but,
I say 30 at the youngest or better to even notice that's him because he's the first original Power Ranger.
Okay.
You know, wife stops him. He talks to us for about 3 minutes. She's like, "My daughter loves you because my kids they like Power Rangers." And well, can we take a picture? Sure, let's take a picture.
Cool.
Then he was like, "Man, tell your daughter." I said, "Stay in school and all." He went down a list of things. He got like a script. You know what I'm saying for the kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and dipped out.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Got to meet the Black Power Ranger.
Hell yeah.
Got to meet the Black Power Ranger
You
this
never
week.
know.
Let me show you the picture, Shay.
Cheeks to Power.
Man, you can't make this ish up, Shay. That's him.
Yep, sure is.
You can hand it to Kevin when you're done.
Look at that.
Yep, that was
Hell yeah.
this Saturday night.
What is Stella's? I've never been to Stella's.
It's called Elixir Bar. It's not far from here. It's right around the corner.
Elixir Bar.
The lighting was in there was
It's just a
bad, but
bar.
that's still you get it. Yep, that's him.
Wow.
Met the Black Power Ranger.
Downtown
The
Huntsville.
OG Black Power Ranger. I wonder, is it a little on the nose that the Black Power Ranger was black? Y'all ever thought about that?
I guess it's a good question.
And
They
and
were
he-
covered head to toe in the show, right?
I'm saying he was black, but his costume was black,
Was also black.
and he rode an elephant, a black elephant.
I wonder if he was pissed about that.
It's a little on the nose for
Wow,
me, Shay.
I'm the black guy. Where I can't get the blue Power
blue,
Ranger.
the
Why
white.
I gotta be? Why I gotta be
can't
the
get
black?
white-
Why I
the
gotta be
white
the black
Power
Power
Ranger.
Ranger? You know? Yeah. Why not?
And the
right?
white Power Ranger was the leader.
Isn't that the way it
Shit
works?
fucked up, Shay. The white Power Ranger. Yeah.
How's that my fault?
But
No, I'm
that
just
was my
fucking-
Saturday night. It's not my fault.
I didn't do it, man. I don't know. I don't speak to
So-
the white people.
Of course, Sunday we had Mid City. We did Mid City Sunday.
How was Mid City Sunday? I wasn't there 'cause I was in-
It was okay.
Okay.
It was
all right.
okay. It was down from last. Well, it was about the same as last weekend.
I think Panoply was this weekend.
But Panoply was this
Yeah,
weekend.
that's what I was
They
thinking.
want $1,500 to be a vendor at Panoply.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Oh, they're a little
And
too
I think
proud
they
of
got.
that.
I think they got rained out like 2 days this weekend. Too.
Yeah, that's a big chance.
So I'm
to
like,
take
do you
on
give
it.
me my money back? So like, I don't know about taking those big events that want so much money.
See, and that's the I've got that big event in Ann Arbor
Mm-hmm.
that is going to be. If it got rained out and we did no sales, I'm going to be in a tough spot.
Hey, y'all need to
That's
get my money
expensive
back.
rain. And the thing is,
I need a refund.
it's a 3-day event. If you do it often enough, sometime on that weekend. But I've been to plenty of events where it rained and you still did okay. You
Mm-hmm.
wish you would have done better. But like Yellow Daisy Festival in Stone Mountain, Georgia.
How
for
much is it
instance,
to do that event?
A single booth
Is it
is
1,500?
$600. No, a single booth is $600.
Okay, 600.
Yeah, but I do a double booth over there. I'm 1,200 deep before
1,200 deep.
before I crank the van up.
Okay,
But
you gotta make 1,200 before you even make a dime.
well, yeah, not including
Not including
gas
yes.
there and food
Correct,
and a
correct.
hotel because I take the family. Yeah. But I forgot where I was going with it.
I don't know either.
Oh, if it were ever, I mean, I've been there and it's rained, and you still do. People still come out, just not as much. You can expect,
mhm.
lower sales, but the odds work out
Because it's so much traffic, though.
because there's so much traffic
If you
and people know
expecting
about
a
it.
whole bunch of traffic,
You
Mhm.
expecting a whole, if you're expecting 250,000 and 120,000, I mean that sucks, but it's
that's still a lot of
120,000.
people. Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm
still
saying?
120,000
And
people.
this one we're doing in Ann Arbor advertises 600,000 attendees,
6 in 3 days.
3 days. Yeah.
God,
So we'll see. I'd like for it to be 3 times the sales. The thing is, I've only got one booth up there because that booth is $1,200 for a 10 by 10.
That's
So
still
I've only
cheaper
got
than
one.
Panoply. Panoply was
Yeah.
$1,500.
And they don't have 600,000 people coming in
and
the Panoply.
$600,000 coming
No.
to Panoply's people.
I didn't know they charged that much.
It's ridiculous. I said nope, not at all. But so did yeah.
So the
Mid-City,
camp, it was mid. Yeah,
Yep. So I had
it was mid. How was the camp? It was mid.
It was mid.
It was mid.
It was mid.
Mm.
Yeah. Hopefully the mid don't become average.
Good point. Coming on summertime though, seemed like there's always a lull in the
But
summertime. People go on vacation.
Thursday's about to start for me this week. My Thursday market,
that's the Green Street market,
Street's
yeah.
about to start up.
I might do some pop-ins
and
over
then
there this
Saturday,
week. I'll call Marilyn.
my Saturday market starts this week too. And I have Porch Fest.
I heard the Saturday.
I got a busy Saturday, this upcoming Saturday.
I heard that Saturday market you're doing out there is fixing to start opening up to crafters.
Oh, okay, cool. They trying to make the. No, I haven't heard that.
See if you can poke around if you think about it. Maybe ask around a little
lady.
bit.
Yeah, I know.
Because I would at least do some pop-ups up there.
Okay.
You know, that on Saturdays.
And I always do. That usually starts becoming one of my better markets throughout the year.
People down there have money. That's for sure.
You know, yeah, that usually become like
if they need a test subject to see if they like crafters, I'll come down there. I'll be super nice. I'll be real polite.
Yeah.
I'll be in Gay, Georgia this weekend.
Gay, Georgia.
Doing the Cotton Fair.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be the Cotton Picking
good?
Fair. And now it's just the Cotton Fair. You can imagine why.
Cotton picking.
Cotton
picking. We used to take field trips when I was a kid to go pick cotton.
I took a field trip one time and picked some cotton.
Seriously.
Yeah,
I'm like, why kids don't do that no more? We took field trips and they gave us a little like brown paper bag, like a little sandwich bag. And the cotton, you know, you might pick more than but you get to fill that bag up at the end.
You stuff the bag up.
You stuff your bag when you're done.
That's cool though.
It's like free labor shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
looking back on it like that.
I think kids should take a field trip to a farm and take an ear of corn home with them that they pulled off of a stalk or a tomato or whatever. You know, something that cotton's going to be way too controversial. Let's just face it.
Nowadays, it might be way too good.
But your idea of taking them to a farm.
On this trip to go pick cotton.
Yeah. You'd get a lot of people talking about in Six Flags over Georgia.
Six Flags over Georgia.
You know, the ride, all right, so the ride used to be called the Monster Plantation.
I never heard that ride.
It's a water ride that you just go through this old mansion that's, supposedly decrepit and now it's haunted and shit pops out at you and it's just a little fun ride.
Yeah. I know the one. I know the one you're talking about.
Now it's called the Monster Mansion. Used to be called the Monster Plantation.
That's Monster Mansion.
Because words matter. You know what I'm saying? Like
I know the exact ride you're talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I kissed a girl for the first time on that ride.
Oh.
When I was like 13 years old. Yeah. I had no idea what I was doing, but thankfully she did, and she threw that shit on me, and I was happy. Yes, ma'am.
Got your rocks off.
I was glued to her side for the rest of the trip. I was probably 13 or 14. I was very young, and it was a church trip.
And you just met her that day, right?
No. I knew her from school.
Oh.
And I invited her to come on the trip. But the thing is,
okay,
like I said, I had a weird childhood. There was no...
She didn't go to your church, but you invited her.
I knew her from school, and I just invited her on the side and was like, hey, if you can get your parents to drop you off at such and such a time at this place, then you can come with us. And, I mean, it was a church-sponsored trip, so the people there knew my parents and what have you. But A, they were cool, and B, I mean, I don't know. I just didn't ask. I beg forgiveness rather than permission.
Yep.
And, it was the first time I ever, did something. But it would not have been, like, if I had asked my parents, that would have been a no. You can't take a girl with you to Six Flags. There was never I was never allowed to. Yeah, that's a whole nother weird thing. So, anyways, I got my first.
That's very
I got my first tongue on the Monster Plantation.
You gave her some tongue.
She gave me some. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was my first time kissing a girl. She'd kissed a dude a couple of times, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Which didn't bother me at all.
She was a huzz.
I don't know if she was a huzz. I think she turned into one though.
You think she turned into?
I do think she turned into one later on. Yeah, I heard some stories.
Hey, she started.
But I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like I touched her butt and thought that was some. That I was like, whoa, she let me touch her butt.
She was for the streets.
I think later on in life, I think she had I think maybe her daddy wasn't around.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that kind of,
Damn.
But whatever. Monster Plantation.
Whatever, you got yours.
At Six Flags.
You got your first kiss.
I got my little 13-year-old, whatever it was. Yep.
Locked lips.
Fun was had by all.
Uh-huh.
A good time was had by all. Yep. And plus, I was breaking the rules, Forbidden love is always the best, is it not?
The tree of the forbidden fruit.
When it's taboo, it always makes it just a little bit more. I don't know, but it has juicy fruit. That's all I know.
But it got juicy fruit.
Well, if people now, they say the apple. Eve ate the apple. But the Bible doesn't say what kind of fruit it was.
It was a who?
A persimmon? I've heard it was a...
It don't say apple. It don't say apple.
It doesn't say apple. It doesn't say any kind of fruit.
It doesn't say apple.
I've heard...
It say like the tree of good and evil and the tree of knowledge.
Tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Good and evil, yeah. And then in the tree of life, it was a tree of life and a tree of... It's two trees. He didn't want them to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They can eat from the tree of life.
Once they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, then they weren't allowed to eat from the tree of life again. They were kicked out of the garden.
Correct.
Yes. But I've heard it was a fruit that no longer exists.
Oh. I don't know, Shay.
I mean, who knows?
Who knows?
I don't think it's real anyways. I think it's just a story, me personally. And so, it's an academic conversation on my part. But for somebody that really believes that that's a literal event, that there really was
I think the Garden of Eden was a laboratory.
Probably.
Where God created us.
Or the semi-consciousness of a created species waking up.
In a lab.
In a lab somewhere.
Someone's
whatever alien.
Yeah, he could do all his
the big question becomes, who is God? Or what is God?
Somebody.
Yeah.
Something.
Is it a spoiled child running an ant farm, as it were? Or is it, the all-knowing? Because
I tell you, it's not just one of him.
To the fleas on the back of the dog,
that dog is God.
The dog is God. And the dog is omnipotent and omniscient and whatever.
Yep.
I don't know. That's a conversation for another night, probably.
God's probably watching us now, whoever he is.
That's what they say, man. I don't know.
The Anunnaki.
Whatever. Give us some words of wisdom, Q.
I don't know, Shay. You always
come on, man. I got to have something.
Words of wisdom, Shay.
You talking about I hit you? You're the words of wisdom, man.
My wisdom is very limited.
You are the words of wisdom, man.
Limited, Shane.
No. Listen. You hit me with the whole, what did you call it? The tape, calling the tape or whatever?
Tail of the tape.
Tail of the tape.
Tail of the tape.
Words of wisdom, my brother. Come on.
Words of wisdom.
Give it
so,
up.
Shane, tomorrow I get to go speak to a class all day tomorrow.
Really? All day?
All day.
Each class that comes through?
Each class that comes through, I get 25 to, she say she slotted me for 25 to 40 minutes.
Wow.
To talk to her class.
That's pretty wild.
Teacher I met at a senior day for my son a couple weeks ago invited me out. So I get to sell popcorn. So classes are like 90 minutes. High school. Classes are 90 minutes. So she said you can talk to the class for up to 40 minutes. That give them 5 minutes to get outside. And then they got another 40, 45 minutes to buy popcorn or whatever. Yeah, high school. It's their family consumer science. Basically, family consumer science used to be home ec.
Yeah.
Home ec. But I think they added a little bit more to it.
I didn't know they were still doing that. I think that's great that they are. That's so important. How to run a household. So many people aren't taught that.
Correct. So she wants me to come. She invited me to come. She was like, I want young business owners, entrepreneurs to come speak to my class.
Hell yeah.
Would you be interested in doing it? I said, sure. She said, if you do come do it, I'll allow you to set up and sell your popcorn as well. You talk to them the first half, and then the next half, they can buy popcorn, drinks, or whatever. I said, nice. Cool, I'll be down. And so I seen her again, last Friday. I seen her at I did an event at the high school. And she was like, you still want to come out and talk? I was like, yeah. She was like, well, how Tuesday sound? I said, Tuesday will be perfect.
Sure.
So I've been just trying to think of things I want to talk to the kids about. These young
high school kids.
High school kids. She say most of her kids are 11 and 12th grade.
That's why Enzo's coming over tomorrow.
Yes, because Cinthia is actually supposed to be off. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are off days. But since we got such a busy weekend, she moved her off days. So she's going to work Tuesday, Wednesday, and be off on Saturday, Sunday, since we got such a busy weekend.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So, just what I'm gonna say to these kids, and so I've been, I'm just thinking, just trying to collect my thoughts in my head. I got so many damn thoughts rolling around in my head, Shane. But I think the main focus is gonna be on success and failure with these kids. Of course, I'm gonna talk about entrepreneurship. I'm gonna talk about myself. Talk about being a dad, being a husband, raising a family. But what I want the kids to really take away is what success means and what failure means.
Okay.
And how to tie those two to one another. And also, when it comes to success and failure, discipline is what's going to drive most of your success. Undiscipline is what's going to drive most of your failure. So what success means to me is doing something you love, setting goals and meeting those goals, on doing what you like to do. That's what success is to me.
Okay.
Failure is not meeting those goals that you set. But, however, it's only real failure or true failure if you give up on trying to meet those goals.
True.
Of course, you're going to fail. So failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success.
I agree.
It takes failure to be successful because you rarely going to get it right the first time.
Have you ever heard the concept that success is failing at a higher level?
Because you still probably stumbling along the way.
You should be setting goals that are difficult to attain.
Correct.
If your goals are easy, then they're not really goals.
Like
they're
those
just,
moonshot goals. Like
moonshot
the
goal.
longest train, the biggest bag of popcorn.
Whatever it is. And maybe the first one is not the end goal, and so you say, okay, I want to get to the point where I'm doing, 100 events a year. I don't want to attach a dollar figure to it because we attach dollars to too much. So see, whatever your goal for your business is, I want it to support myself and 5 families, whatever. Well, maybe first you start out with yourself and your goal is to support one other family. You continue failing at that until you achieve that, then set the next goal. And continue failing at that goal until you achieve that one. And, it's like any sport or, anything that you do. If you want to get to something.
Correct.
Be failing on the way, but keep steady failing.
Failing on the way.
As long as
and
you
don't let failure stop you. Because the more action, the more clear. Action breeds clarity.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
You might be going down the wrong path, but say you never even attempted to go down any path. At least once you start going down the wrong path, you will realize eventually this is the wrong path. I might need to switch paths.
Right.
But if you just don't do it at all, you still stuck in your same situation. And also, I think I'm gonna touch on just mediocrity. If you want to be mediocre, guess what? You're gonna get mediocre results. No one practicing mediocrity changed the world. Made a difference. So what are y'all going to do to make a difference in the world? Y'all are the future. So these are the thoughts that I'm having when I'm talking to these kids.
And these are teenagers.
Bright out, bushy tail. So hopefully they can take something, whatever I'm trying to give them, and hopefully I can touch at least one of them, to maybe see the world a little bit different, or maybe not look at themselves as a failure, because you're only a failure if you just give up completely. Maybe you might not hit that goal the first time. Try again. Maybe try a different angle. What my boy Thomas Edison said. I haven't failed.
Found 1,000 ways.
I haven't failed 1,000 times. I found 1,000 ways that don't work.
Not to do it.
You know what I'm saying? So take that mentality. You got any advice? Anything else I could probably touch on with them? These are teenagers, very impressionable teenagers.
I don't know if I were going to talk to, I haven't sat down and written something or thought much about it, but if I were going to sit down and talk to young people,
I was going to spitball the shit. I was going to have an idea where I wanted to go. No, I got an idea where I want to go, but I wasn't going to write out a long strip or PowerPoint. I was just going to start talking. I could spend 10 minutes just talking about myself.
I think if you can find a way to inspire them and give them hope. I think with a lot of the young people that I talk to and come in contact with today, they feel like they don't see a clear path towards some sort of success. When I was young, that clear path was presented as being college. And a lot of those kids now have come out with $100,000 in debt and a $40,000 a year job, and I think some of the kids coming up underneath of that generation are looking around and going, wait a minute, the world costs 5 times as much. A college degree is worth half what it once was and costs 3 times as much.
And costs 3 times as much.
I can't just go out and get an entry-level job anymore that I can work my way up and turn into something. I've got to figure something else out. And I think finding a way to give them hope, make them try to figure out a way to help them understand that this is a cycle like anything else. And all the people that you hear bitching about how tough the world is, their parents and grandparents were bitching about how tough their world was, and that's been going on forever and ever. Yes, things are hard now, but they're no harder than they ever were. And these kids have better tools to manage it. I don't know. Hope. That's what I'd try to give.
Hope?
Yep. Hope. Give them hope for the future.
So don't take my success failure angle.
No. I think I think you can do that and give them hope because you've had success in doing your own thing. Show them about your success and your faith and how, I hope that I'm continuing to fail 30 years from now.
Right.
I hope that I have great hope for that.
I haven't gave up.
Yeah. I hope I haven't given that. Exactly right. Yep. Mr. Producer's kicking me under the desk.
And then last thing, I'm gonna touch on discipline.
Sure.
because it takes discipline to be successful.
It does.
Discipline is basically doing what needs to be done when you don't want to do it. Discipline is me going to those markets 3-4 times a week.
Yep.
Knowing that I might not blow it out the water, but I still get up and I do it.
Loading up, tearing down, ordering inventory.
Correct.
Popping popcorn.
Correct.
Bringing the family out when you have to and making arrangements when you can't.
Discipline probably what done separated me from all the other popcorn business that went under. Sure. It's not an easy business. You
know, it's interesting. I've got 3 market tents given to me by 3 different individuals who were in the festival market business and have had, they've gone on and done other things. Not that I'm something better than anybody else is, because it might be me next,
Right.
But the discipline to,
You ain't quit.
I ain't quit. Nope.
I'm still
getting up early in the morning.
Getting up. Yep.
Doing what needs to be done.
So that's what I'm probably going to talk about with the kids tomorrow. Then let me see, can I find an angle to squeeze some hope in there?
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. But I got to be honest. I think the kids coming up are going to figure it out.
I think they are. They are.
And I think the more
hopefully we could be good ushers, though. I think we got to be good ushers and not just look at them like they're lazy or they're bums. They're not lazy.
No,
they're not bums.
They're not lazy or bums. No, they're dealing with very difficult circumstances that we never had to deal with.
We're probably the bums for even putting them in these situations,
Maybe.
or making the world the way it is.
I think
for them.
I think our generation has not done too bad of a job. I'm gonna be honest with you. Our kids are a little bit spoiled, but I think we showed them. I don't know. I'm probably full of crap. I'm probably wrong on that one.
I think we did worse. I think we did bad, Shane.
Did we do worse than the baby boomers? Because in my opinion, the baby boomers were the
really
worst.
Fucked it up. That's where it started.
Yeah, I think the baby boomers are the ones as far as raising kids and families, the decisions that they made. It was one of 2 extremes. Either they were bleeding heart liberals, they invented participation trophies, or they just were heavy-handed and didn't really give a shit about you. There was 2 kinds of parents back then, and neither one of those probably is the right way to do it. We got to find somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up, brother.
I think that's it, man.
How long have we been talking?
Hopefully someone got something out of my little success, failure, discipline speech.
Words of wisdom with Q the Messenger.
Yeah. What y'all think?
Success is failure.
Yeah. Success is failure.
All right.
Success is not the opposite of failure.
True that.
Or failure is not the opposite of success. It's just a part of it.
Part of it.
It takes failure to succeed. That's all I got, Shane.
I like
Hard stop.
Hard stop.
Hard stop.
Good place to stop. This has been Vendor Chronicles. Peace.
Peace. Hey.